Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Villain of the Week. In this series, myself and another content creator talk about a villain from Marvel Champions. I'm one of your hosts, Steggy, and with me, as always, is my partner in crime, my co-host, Solo Marvel Champion. Now, without further delay, let's get into today's video. Mr. Champion, or Solo, if I be so bold. How are you doing today?
Mr. Champion, I like that. No one's called me Mr. Champion before.
Well, yeah, I do know. Be formal.
I'm doing well. I'm on my fifth cup of coffee today. I'm ready to start the day.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I think we've had I could say we've had a good morning so far. We had a nice warm up game of Marvel Champions, before we dived in, and not just any game. We actually did play a game against the villain that we're going to discuss today. Before we dive into this, how has your week been, just in general, or maybe even Marvel Champions related? Because I think at the time of us recording this, I think technically the LEDT, or your limited, draft tournament environment, I think that's just wrapping up, isn't it?
It is. We are done with that. Last weekend of it was the last weekend of February. We ran that so that we could have, two villains each week throughout the week, or throughout the month of February. So that's done now. It went really well. I think I came in third place overall in the tournament. I had two bad losses.
Oh, yeah?
And that took me down to third place, but it was a lot of fun. So I don't care about the score at the end of the day. It was fun to do it. And that's all I wanted to do, was have fun with some other nerds, and I think we all had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun to watch, and I think it actually was a big thing in the community. People were like, oh, like myself, I know personally, I didn't pay a lot of attention to Limited. I was like, I don't know why you would really do this, I suppose. Current, I understand. Legacy, of course, I understand. But Limited, I'm like, I couldn't see why, but after seeing, the tournament and stuff, I'm like, oh, that's a fantastic idea. And, there's people like across the sea, I think in the UK, who are also doing a sort of limited environment. You started something.
The UK Draft League. I had seen a deck posted by one of them, and I said, oh, that's really awesome. We're doing that too, blah, blah, blah. And he said, oh, yeah, we started ours because of you. I'm like, oh, that's really awesome. Thank you for that. That is cool.
It is awesome. Yeah, it's fun to see, and it's just fun to see something different, I guess. Like, it's still Marvel Champions, but you're like, hey, we're kind of competing a little bit. Like, this is what I drafted. This is what we're up against. Like, let me see how I can do. I got two different shots, I guess, different builds and heroes. And yeah, it was cool. So that was cool to watch.
Yeah, I think I had a lot of fun with the draft portion. Like, the tournament, like you said, it's just playing more games of Marvel Champions. But the draft portion was so much fun for me, and that was my big contribution, right? I was talking about that way before we even knew we were getting new environments. So it's not like I said, hey, let's do something for a limited environment. I had the idea of drafting before we even knew we were getting environments. So I'm glad we got to do it finally. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, again, it was super cool. Outside of this, do you, as a fellow content creator, do you tend to play more of your Marvel Champions games, like, on camera, like they're recorded, or do you find yourself also playing a few games, like, not recorded? You know what I mean?
I play, for every game on my channel you see, I probably have 20 or 25 that aren't recorded.
Wow.
So I play a ton of Marvel Champions outside of recording them. And that's why, in last week's Villain of the Week, we were talking about Rhino. Sometimes I'll just sit down and play Rhino because he's super fast. Win or lose, you play a game quickly and get to play another one. Sometimes with my recorded videos, like right before I recorded, I played 3 or 4 test games. So, that's 5 games, and you only got to see one of them. And then usually after I record and before I go edit, I'll play 3 or 4 more games. So for 10 games I've played, you've only seen one of them. And then I'll change heroes, and as long as that villain's still on the table, I'll often play that villain with several different heroes. But Yeah, for me, definitely. I play a lot more games offline than I do online or on camera. What about you? What does your mix look like?
So I'm a little similar. I will say, like, there are some days where it like really strikes me, and like I put some music on, like on YouTube or something, or I put a video on, and then I just pivot because I have like an L shape here. So I just sit and I play some games of Marvel Champions. But then there's some days where like the only game I play is maybe the one I record. Like for example, I played Nebula. I have a game with Nebula on my channel, and it's literally the only game that I've ever played with Nebula is that one video
Wow.
that I recorded. And but then there's some of them where, yeah, like I'll play beforehand. Sometimes I do a couple takes of a video, or like if it's rendering or uploading, I'm like, oh, I should play again because I really like this. Like Psylocke. Psylocke, I was like, wow, she's actually really fun. So I played a few more games like after I had recorded it. But one of the things I like to do is I'm getting into like custom content, and I'm working on a Punisher hero, and I completely changed from my last version. I have a much cleaner version now, and I actually play a lot on like Tabletop Simulator because I can upload my cards there. So I practice a lot on Tabletop Simulator against a bunch of different villains, but I have been testing like just the Punisher because I prefer to have physical cards, but I don't have physical cards of this guy yet, so I just do it online.
No, I do that too. I use dragon cards, and I said sometimes I'll play 3 or 4 practice games before recording. Sometimes that's on dragon cards because it is so much faster too than doing a physical game. So I'll build a deck, I will play 3 or 4 on dragon cards, make some tweaks sometimes, and then I'll go down to the table and record.
Yes, yeah, we've been actually playing. You kind of really got me into dragon cards, and we've been playing a few games with it, and it's pretty fun. You definitely can play games, I guess, yeah, quicker on, these sort of programs or, dragon cards, which is nice, but there's still part of me, I don't know, I just love the feel of the cards in my hands,
Oh, I mean, I agree with that too. I love playing the game physically. Like, I play a lot of Lord of the Rings, the card game, on dragon cards, but that's another game I'd rather just, shuffle that big 50 card deck rather than doing it on dragon cards. It just really depends on how much time I have. Sometimes I don't have time to physically build the deck, go down, play it 3-4 times. Whereas, especially I think in Lord of the Rings, it's important to iterate as quickly as you can because, those scenarios you basically have to build a deck for every time. I know there are some people who don't. Some people build a really powerful deck that can theoretically go against anything, but then you're always playing the same deck, and that's not fun for me either. So I think for the most part, the reason I do so much testing on dragon cards is I can iterate on the deck really quickly. That card wasn't really working. Let's take those 3 out and put these 3 and see how that goes. So that definitely makes it a lot faster for making the deck the way you want it.
Oh, yeah. When I did competitive, trading card games, I would spend a lot of time on a virtual program, however that may be, practicing, and then when I go to the tournament, I would have like the physical cards, and I would know, what to put into the deck because I did so much playtesting, online. And speaking of playtesting online, which is a good segue because I'm smooth like this, we actually just finished a game against the villain we are going to discuss today. And again, today's villain is the one that I chose, and that is Enchantress. And I picked Enchantress, one, because we had talked about Rhino in our last episode, and Rhino is considered to be like the first villain. Well, right now, at the time of recording, Enchantress can be seen as like almost like the last villain, right? I mean, you also got Loki, and yes, we do have the Civil War leaders, but they're not like villains. They're more like heroes you kind of fight against. So Enchantress is like a modern, villain. And I thought, what? It would be cool to discuss, like the changes, I guess, or like what, FFG has done with heroes with this, most recent one. And plus, I think she's cool and I really like her.
No, yeah, I really like Enchantress. That was one that I was really excited to get the scenario pack, thinking both scenarios were just going to be really, really awesome. Now, I do like the Loki in that scenario pack, but if I could only play one, I would play Enchantress all day long.
As another thing, I just wanted to bring up just as a really fun fact. So there is an Enchantress in Marvel, of course, that's who we're talking about, but there also is an Enchantress in DC as well.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was like pretty interesting because like I was, maybe just looking her up, trying to find some facts or something real quick, and I was like, oh my gosh, like she's in DC as well, and she's actually in like the Suicide Squad movie. She's like the creepy witch, type
okay.
sorcerer.
I know that character, yeah.
Yep, that's Enchantress, and her powers are very similar. They're both like spellcasters. They can both like control people almost, but the Marvel Enchantress is more like, she enthralls people. She like seduces people type, type of thing. Whereas the Enchantress from DC more like takes control of you, like a puppet type of thing. But they
almost more like Hela, I would think.
Yeah, it's more of a vibe. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and speaking of Hela, I did not know this. Enchantress in Marvel is actually Asgardian. I had no idea.
Oh, I knew that, yeah. And I only knew that because of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. Question I was going to ask you, they did have an Enchantress-like character in that show, but her name was Lorelei, and I didn't know if that is Enchantress or Lorelei was just an Enchantress. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm asking?
So I did kind of look into this, and I don't know if like the name was changed or not, but I do know that technically there are at least two Enchantresses. So the main one who we fight and usually you see, her name is Amora. But then there is actually a second Enchantress, and typically she goes by Sylvie, who is like the female Loki, quote unquote. That's also like Enchantress. But it's possible that they made, this Lorelei an Enchantress, or she's like a new Enchantress. That could be. But there is like a second one that kind of appears like in the Marvel universe. Yeah,
her name is Amora. This is something that kind of drives me crazy about Marvel. Okay, so they made a character named Amora, and they made a character named Gamora. They made a character named Magog, and they also made a character named Mangog. And I don't understand. Were they just going through a creative slump? Oh, let's just take a letter off of another character's name, or let's just add a character to another character's name. I don't understand.
Yeah, I can say, in her defense, that Enchantress or Amora, she did appear in 1964. So she might have been like the first, And
but then they made Gamora and said, well, let's take Amora and add a G to it.
Yeah, well, maybe they just like the, the auras or something. But yeah, you're right. They're very similar. They're very similar. But yeah, just, and she really likes Thor. Like, a lot.
Oh, yeah. She's in love with Thor. And that probably causes some problems with Lady Sif. And then probably some problems with Jane Foster. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Yep. Yeah, just some fun stuff. And, she's Valkyrie's nemesis minion, actually.
Yep, I forgot about that.
Yep,
I think that's a bad one, too. Let me look that up, because I don't believe that is a good nemesis.
Yeah, I haven't played much Valkyrie, but I don't know if I actually encountered, Enchantress as her nemesis minion when I was playing. I don't think so.
Okay, so search the encounter deck, discard pile, and set aside area for a copy of Seduced, and add it to her. And Seduced makes it so that you can't attack or make basic attacks. And that's actually the same name and effect of a card that Enchantress uses in the Enchantress scenario pack. So that's interesting that they did that.
Same art and everything too, I think.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, I like when they do that. It's, like with the Civil War leaders, and they have like their cards are also like from their hero kit. It's cool. I like that.
Yep, I like that. Fun cohesion, and that's not the real word I'm looking for, but some good sameness there.
So as far as like Enchantress goes, like in Marvel Champions, would you say you've had like a lot of experience like fighting her, like playing against her? Is she one of those where you're very happy to fight against, I guess, like a fun scenario?
Yeah, I play her all the time. I've got a video coming out that is Wonder Man. Oh, actually, it came out today as we're recording this. Wonder Man versus Enchantress. That was my first game ever playing against her. And I've got a Spectrum game against Enchantress coming out soon, too. The weekend I got that pack, I played her once and thought, okay, this is cool. Let me try again. And because I intended to play both as first plays on the channel. So I played Enchantress, said, oh, let's play her again. I played her again, and then I ended up playing her like 6 or 7 times and said, I don't even want to touch Loki. This is so much fun. So play her a lot. How about you?
I am extremely similar. I actually don't even have Loki sleeved up, and it's not so much that I don't want to play Loki. I do really like Enchantress. She's one of my favorite villains to play against, I think. Like, if I go to, like, say, MCDC or something, I'd probably bring her and be like, hey, you guys want to play, Enchantress? But, I don't have Loki sleeved up because I feel like he's more for multiplayer, but there's just a bunch of heroes or villains I also don't have sleeved up.
Yeah.
But I do like her. Yeah, she's a ton of fun.
She's a blast. And to what you're saying there, you do have a lot of villains you haven't sleeved up. That probably means you have a lot of villains you haven't played. Yep. I've played every villain in the game. Like Loki from this set, I've only played twice. Once solo and once at MCDC. And Loki from Mad Titan Shadow, I've only played twice. Don't really want to play those again. Enchantress, definitely. I'll pull her out every once in a while because she's a good time.
Yep. I have I have a lot of my villains like put away, but I have like some of my more favorite ones are like in a certain little area in like one of my boxes, so I can just easily go back and like grab them, and she's in that area.
What about with Enchantress? What are you doing with her? Are you using the Trickster magic set, or are you swapping that out with something else?
So at the moment, I do really like the Trickster, magic. The one she comes with, I really do like that one because I like the minions, and I think it fits really well, and it just, I don't know, it almost feels like it's part of her just encounter set already, and I just really like it.
Some villains have that, where the set they come with feels like it should have just been part of their kit anyway, and I think that's why I use Masters of Evil with Claw. It makes sense to use that with him, and with Ultron it just makes sense to use under attack, but yeah, I do agree that Trickster Magic feels like it belongs in her set.
Yeah. Yep. The new, as a quick addendum, but also related, the new but the new mod set, I think that came in Hercules' pack, that with Hakati and stuff like that. I forget what it's called, but it's like right over here. That has an enthralled minion, that dragon. I mean, that could maybe work with Enchantress.
Oh, I still haven't played Hercules, so I haven't looked at him too much. I think that's Hecate.
Yes.
Not Hakati.
Yeah, it has like a dragon, like enthralled guys like on a dragon, like a police officer, or I think it's a girl. But it has enthralled as a trait, just like the other minions do in the Enchantress mod set.
Oh, I'm looking at it now, and I don't see enthralled on there. Oh, Bewitched Officer.
That's it. But yeah, Bewitched Officer. Yeah.
Aerial Dragon Enthralled. That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought, that could be fun,
Yeah, that might be good to throw in with Enchantress, but the other minions aren't.
No, they're rough.
Which is fine.
Yeah,
which is fine. Rough. You don't need to be able to steal all of them. And you wouldn't be able to steal this one just because it doesn't have that text on it.
Yeah, so you can't use it as a buddy, but, if maybe you didn't want to have, like, an ally, maybe a little bit more of a challenge, I could see this fitting, and thematically, I think it could make sense.
Yep. No, I think it makes sense, yeah, just because it's enthralled. It might be fun to try.
Now, concerning Enchantress, as you play her, of course, there's a ton of cards that she reveals, her encounter set and her mod set and stuff. I think it'd be very interesting, just like we did with Rhino, we can bring up a card that maybe we like or we dislike, from the set, or from the scenario. And since I'm in the driver's seat this week, I'm going to go ahead and go first. So the card I picked that I wanted to talk about from her mod set, or from, her encounter set, I cannot stand this card. If it's revealed and you're at a certain point of the game, you could lose. I have literally lost the game because of this card, and it is Spell Blast. So when it's revealed, you have to choose one of two things, but if you are enthralled, you have to do both of them. And you have to either have her scheme, or you have to have her attack. But if you're enthralled, she gets to do both. Now, you do get to choose the order in which she does it, but she's still going to do it, and she's going to get a bonus of +1 to her scheme and to her attack as well. So if you are enthralled...
If she's an expert, right?
Oh, shoot, yeah, it's in expert mode. Yeah, so... Yeah, which I've done before, because I really like her, so I do play her in expert mode sometimes, But yes, this one is just... You could be in hero mode, but hero form, and be like, okay, I'm going to win. But she's like, nope, I'm actually going to scheme out. And you're like, oh, okay.
I'm going to throw a spell at you, and you're toast.
Yeah, or, beat you up or something, and it's my least favorite card to have revealed, especially when I am enthralled.
I don't think I've ever revealed that card while I was Defiant. I think every time I've revealed it, I have been enthralled, so you have to do both. So yeah, that is a terrible card.
Yep. And I want to quickly add, I actually have a favorite card, and it was super weird. Not super weird, but if I get this as an encounter card, I'm really pumped. So the one I actually like to get is one of the attachments in its Alluring Call. I am actually okay with having this attachment for a few turns, because you can play a card, but you can reduce its cost by 1, and all it takes is to put a counter on, it can either be the main scheme if you're enthralled, or it'll just be on your little, charmed area if you're not enthralled. But being able to play a card for 1 less, that's pretty good. I'll let it stick around for a couple turns until it gets too crazy, and then I'll get rid of it. But I
agree. I think that is a great card. I am the type of person who wants to get rid of those immediately, because I don't want to add more threat. I don't want to add another charm counter. So I always just, as soon as I can, do the alter ego action to exhaust it and discard it. But I have played games where I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good. Let's just keep that around for a while.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'll take that free resource just for 1 point on the main scheme or something. That's okay. I'll do that. Yeah. So yeah, I had a least favorite, which is my Spell Blast, and then a most favorite, because I just really like one here, which is my Alluring Call. Now, do you have one that you either really like or really dislike?
Well, I came prepared with one that I especially dislike. I'll talk about that first, but then you have inspired me to talk about one that I like as well.
Oh, okay.
So for the first one that I just absolutely loathe, it's the Brute Troll Ulick. It's a minion with 0 scheme, 3 attack, 5 hit points. If you're an expert, he gains toughness. But he has 2 different abilities on him. One is, after a player deals any amount of damage to Enchantress, Ulick attacks that player. So, attacking for 3, even if you just attack with Mockingbird and deal 1 damage to Enchantress, Ulick gets angry and attacks you. I don't like that. Next is his When Defeated effect. When defeated, Enchantress attacks the player who defeated Ulick and gets +1 for that attack. So you knock him out and she's attacking you. So you pretty much have to get rid of him, because you don't want to just put, 1 damage at a time on Ulick or on Enchantress. You need to either knock her out or knock him out. So I prefer to just knock him out and then take that attack. It's just a card that I like it, but I also hate it. I like the design of it, but I hate that effect. I hate having to basically give her an extra attack, which is also either going to move me closer to being enthralled or put a threat on the main.
Yeah, this guy is rough. I 100% agree with everything you said. And we actually did encounter him. I pulled him out with Tigra, and I underestimated how devastating this guy can be, especially in multiplayer. Yeah, he is absolutely brutal.
You might even say that lost us that game. So
You know, he was hitting.
One might say that.
Maybe. Well,
So just for the viewers, we played a game against Enchantress a couple of days ago, and we lost that one. That was the game where Ulick came out. This morning we played a game and crushed her so effectively that we only had 2 threat left on the first main when we were done, so we didn't lose the first main, and neither of us were enthralled.
Yep, not even close.
Steggy had 3 counters on his, I had 2 on mine. So that was an epic beating and a lot of fun.
Yeah, she deserved it after after what she did to us before.
One thing I really like about Ulick, he is not enthralled. So he's just a brute troll who, I guess, really looks up to Enchantress, because if you hurt her, he's coming after you.
Oh, yeah.
So that feels really cool, because she didn't even have to enthrall him to get his allegiance. And I like that. That's a cool design. I also like that he doesn't have enthralled because of Law of Attraction, a side scheme that comes out and says discard until you get an enthralled minion. So I'm liking that you don't get Ulick if you pull Law of Attraction.
Ah, that's a good point. Yep. Yep.
So that's a card I just absolutely hate. One of them that I like quite a bit is one of the Hypnotic Gazes. The Hypnotic Gaze that flips to Trance of Greed is a lot of fun. When revealed, you're confused, otherwise take 2 damage. That's not a big deal, you just exhaust and get rid of your confuse. But the forced action on it is exhaust this card, draw 1 card, then play it, paying its cost. If you can't, take a damage. Usually I want to make that my first action of the turn, because I still have a full hand size and can potentially play whatever I draw.
Yeah.
So that is a really fun card, even without any kind of cost reduction. That is a really fun one to get, and especially someone with loads of resources like Captain Marvel, that can be a lot of fun. Of course, the detriment there is if you draw a resource, you're taking a damage because you can't play a resource.
Oh, yeah. But you get an extra card.
Or if you do it in Alter Ego, and you have a card that you can, and you draw a card that you can only play as an Avenger, like Quinn Carrier. You know, you can't play that either, so you take a damage. 1 damage isn't a big deal, but it can stack up if, like, your whole deck is full of resource cards. Like Bishop. I wouldn't want to play Bishop against Enchantress because his deck has so many resource cards in it.
Yep, those are good points. Yeah, this one actually isn't, like, terrible and can be a little bit beneficial, especially if you get some really good cards to play off the top of your deck. My least favorite, like if I'm enthralled and I have one of these trances, my least favorite is the Trance of Pride. I do not like that one. I think that one's too rough. That's the one where when it's revealed, you have to exhaust your identity, and if you can't, you have to discard a card at random from your hand, and then you have to exhaust a card to place 1 threat on the main scheme, and then remove 2 threat from a side scheme. So if there's no side scheme in play, you're just adding threat to the main scheme just because. And I'm like, you have to do it, and it just sucks.
So it's interesting. That one actually, I don't mind. I neither like nor dislike that one. If I get it, it's whatever. It's fine. Because there are enough side schemes in her deck that might be relevant. And then if you're playing a side scheme, like in the game that came out this morning, we're recording on March 6th, I got that as my enthralled enchantment and said, oh, well, that's good because I've got a side scheme in hand. So then I played the side scheme, used that forced action, put 1 on the main, and take 2 off of that player side scheme. So it worked out in my favor there. But then, like, the next 2 or 3 turns, I didn't have any side schemes out. So, yeah, I'm just adding threat. But 1 threat at a time isn't terrible until it's the last threat, right? So...
yeah, you have to do it, yeah.
It's not too bad. I don't love the card, but I don't hate it too bad. There is one that I don't like. See if I can find it real quick. Oh, Sloth. Exhaust this, heal a damage from Enchantress, draw a card, discard a card. So you get to heal her, you have to heal her, and then you're just doing a little bit of card filtering. So that's another one I try to do first in the turn if I can, because I have full options.
Yep.
Draw a card. Okay, I'll keep that one, but I want to discard this card, which is going to be useless right now. But I really dislike Trance of Sloth. I don't want to be healing the villain if I'm not getting anything out of it, really.
There's what is that? The new card in Wonder Man's kit where you can heal the villain, but then they're confused. I thought that's really clever. That's really funny.
Now, I don't mind that card because you are getting it confused out of it. That might make the difference between you getting to flip down or not.
Yep.
Battlefield Benevolence. Yeah, that is good. Heal 2 damage from an enemy, and that's a cost. You have to heal that, and then the effect is confuse the enemy. I do like that.
It's a fun. Yeah, maybe we'll get a stun one, unless maybe stun might be too strong. I don't know. I don't know if they would do stun.
I don't know. I mean, I really feel Stun and Confuse are pretty on par, except that you probably spend more time in Hero than in Alter Ego.
Yeah.
So maybe Confuse is a little less immediately powerful. A lot of heroes want to be in Alter Ego.
Oh, yeah.
So just knowing I can go down this turn, that is nice, even if you have to heal them too. And again, I really don't like healing the villain unless I'm getting something out of it. Well, Confuse is good enough. Like, I might even confuse Ultron if I wasn't planning to flip down, because he has, the 2 advances. He's got 2 Rage of Ultron. Any extra thwarting, especially if you're trying to keep the main scheme on the first main, just ruins your day, right? It only has a threshold of 3. Yeah, I would confuse him even if I wasn't flipping down, just in case I drew an advance.
Yeah, those are all, that makes sense. Those are all good points. For Enchantress, I like that when you flip her to like stage 2, like we're playing standard, and you flip her to stage 2, she can't necessarily just be like deleted. I know there's some heroes where you can just like build out, and then you got everything going. Then you do like that last little point of damage, flip the villain to stage 2, and then you just blow them up with everything you have prepared. But you can't do that with Enchantress, because she gets that side scheme that not only makes her invulnerable to damage, but she gets a tough status card, and she gets stalwart as well. And I like that. I think that's really clever. Like, she's gonna stick around for like probably one more turn at the very least. So you gotta plan accordingly.
Yeah, I like that, and they doubled down on that in the Civil War box. All of the leaders have that built into their stage 2 and stage 4 sides. I believe they all do.
Yep.
Where they just can't take any more damage this turn. I do like that. Here's one interesting thing, though.
Yeah.
Because with the current timing, status cards come off before interrupts and force interrupts. You could still deal her damage, and then that would knock off her tough.
Oh.
So, I mean, that's at least something, right? You can at least get rid of that tough this turn. But, and I'm glad you brought this up because I wanted to talk about it anyway, I love the way that this Future of Despair comes out. It doesn't matter if you are playing Standard or Expert. It only comes out on the second stage of the villain. So if you're playing Standard, it'll come out on stage 2. But if you're playing Expert, it comes out on stage 3. I really like that because it does the thing. You can't just blow through both phases, both stages of the villain in one turn.
Yep. And it's like the Future of Despair is set aside, so it's like right there, very easy to find, and yeah, it's coming into play. And like we just fought her in multiplayer, did 2-player, and this side scheme came into play with 10 threat on it. Which that's a lot, but we still got it, because we were. And
somebody whose name is Mr. Champion cleared all 10 of that on his turn, I believe.
Yeah,
pretty sure that's how that went down.
I'm pretty sure that is how that went down. Yes, we were doing very well. Yeah, that game.
But yeah, on Enchantress 2, when revealed in standard mode, put Set of Despair into play. Okay, so if you're playing Expert, that when revealed doesn't happen at the beginning of the game. And I like that. I wish more villains would do that. I wish they had thought about that earlier in the game's life. Like, Claw could benefit from that, right? Claw, when you get to stage 2, puts in the Immortal Claw. Well, whether you're playing Standard or Expert, That always happens when you reveal stage 2 Claw. But then you have 2 side schemes to worry about at the beginning of the game. I actually like that. I think that makes it really fun to play Claw because you have to worry about 2 side schemes early. But I also really like this design. Stage 2, if you're playing Expert of Enchantress, that doesn't happen. It won't happen until you get to stage 3.
Oh, yeah, because how it's worded.
Yep. So when you get to stage 3, when revealed, put the set aside Future of Despair into play, then place 4 per player threat on it. Well, if it did come in on stage 2, when it got to stage 3, it wouldn't happen again because at that point it's not set aside. I just love the way these are worded so that it's only going to come in on stage 2 on standard or stage 3 on expert. I love that bit of design. I think it's great.
Yep, me too. It's yeah, first time I encountered it. Well, I think I played it wrong the first time. I forgot like she couldn't take damage or something. I was like, oh, she just has stalwart. Too. But then like once you realize, you know, you have to clear this or you can't do anything, then you're like, oh, okay, right? You know, it makes sense. And it just, I don't know, it just feels like a more engaging villain, and you actually get to play like Marvel Champions because like I specifically remember I played like a Wolverine versus Sabretooth game, and I just deleted Sabretooth. Like it was just I think I had like 3 turns, if that, and I was over it. It was over in a few minutes, and I was like, oh, well, wow, you know. But like Enchantress, you actually get to build out or, you know, play your allies.
And you have that speed bump. You have to stop. You cannot deal her any more damage.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think that might be one of the reasons I like Enchantress so more. I also like the variability, right? You don't know which trance you're getting until you've got 5 counters on it. And then you reveal it and like, oh, it's the one I hate. Or, oh, good, that's the one I really kind of like.
Yeah, this will benefit me, you know? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was playing Domino against Enchantress. I think that's the game that's coming up next against her. And I didn't realize it until like the game was over and my closing thoughts for the video. I did get Trance of Greed. So with Domino, you can pretty much set up the top of your deck every turn. So I'm like, Trance of Greed is fantastic if you're Domino, because you always know what that top card's going to be. Okay, I want to put this card on top, and then I'll use Trance of Greed, draw a card, play it. Oh, well, I can because I knew what it was and I was prepared for it, so you get to play that card. That was a really interesting revelation that I didn't even have until the game was over. Like, that game probably would have been better if I had realized that during the game.
Yeah, that's, yeah, it's almost like Domino almost, like, countered, you know, Enchantress at that moment, or maybe her luck, like, overpowered. Like
and Magic would be the same. Magic could be the same because you know what that top card is. Now, you don't get the reduction on it, but you know what it's going to be, and you know if you can play it or not. So you might say, okay, not that one. I don't want that one. So let me play that from the top of my deck, you know, for 0. It's a 1-cost card.
Yeah.
And then the next card on top, you're like, okay, that one I'll draw because it also costs 0, maybe Spiritual Med or something. So you draw it, play it, it costs 0, and now you can continue on your day.
Yeah, she's just a great villain, a great design. Just, I'm a huge fan. With that being said, you know, with everything we talked about, what would you give Enchantress on a scale from 1 to 10? With 10 being, I love this hero or villain, I say this every time, I love this villain, you know, I'll play her all the time, to 1 being like, I'm a 1 and done, like, I'm good.
So, in the last episode, I said I would give very few villains a 10. And I'm not going to give Enchantress a 10, but I'm going to give her like a 9.9.
Right?
She is so close to being the best designed villain in the game, in my opinion, that I'm going to give her a 9.9. I'm not going to give her a 10. I don't think I'm going to give any villain a 10. But I might give Enchantress a 9.95 because she is so close to being a 10. Yeah, I think 9.95. That's where I rate her. What about you?
Well, she would be one of, you know, again, the few villains I would bring to a convention. At this point, like, I absolutely love her. Like, of all the villains printed so far, there's only a few. There's like 1 or 2 others, like maybe Black Widow and like Ultron, who like I really like playing against a little more. Maybe Sabretooth as well. But it's at least a 9. It's at least a 9. It could possibly be 10. Like, I think I would really enjoy playing against her like all the time. Yeah, it's somewhere between. I'd say 9.5. I'm gonna say 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, that's where I'll put it. Yeah, she's just, if I sit down at a table and someone like pulls out Enchantress, I'm gonna be pumped like every time.
Like, yes, let's go.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I like that. Yeah, she's really cool. I really, really like her.
So, literally, just off the top of my head, while we're talking here, I had an idea. I want to develop a campaign where she is the first villain. And when you get your trance, you have to carry that trance through the rest of the campaign.
Oh.
So she has you enchanted, and for the rest of the campaign, even if you knock her out, and like you have to knock her out to go to the next villain, right? Even if you knock her out, she's still got you enthralled. And so you have to carry that enthrallment through the whole campaign. I think that might be really interesting.
Ooh. Maybe you can fight, like, the Civil War leaders. Like, you've suddenly turned against, the heroes, and, she's enthralled you.
That is amazing.
Or at least the second one. Maybe the second one is, like, I don't know, Iron Man or Captain America or someone. But then, like, maybe after you fight them, maybe you aren't enthralled anymore, and then you have to fight, I don't know, so, like the third villain is someone different, or I don't know, or you have to go through a couple of Civil War leaders, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I was enthralled this whole time, I'm so sorry, type of thing.
Yeah, or like, because in Arkham Horror, it's a fail forward style, so even if you lose a scenario, the story continues. So maybe you have that enthralled until you get beat by one of those Civil War leaders. They knock some sense into you, and you're like, holy cow, and then you lose your enchantment.
Yeah, and then maybe, like, you fight Expert Enchantress or something, or you fight, I don't know, it could be Loki with Valkyrie's Nemesis set, so you have Enchantress in the deck or something, I don't know. Something like that.
That could be fun. I didn't even think about that. Maybe in all of those Civil War leaders, one of the mod sets you have to take is Valkyrie's Nemesis. So you have Enchantress throughout the entire campaign.
Ooh, yeah, see?
That could be interesting.
She's a great villain. Yeah, they did a good job with her. Really exciting.
Taking some notes now. I don't know if that's coming over the camera, or over the mic, but writing down some notes. Sounds like some fun. Yeah, I will definitely take some more notes on that. That sounds fun.
Yeah, Enchantress is the best.
You know what? As we continue talking about this, I think I am going to give her a 10.
Yeah?
I think she is the best designed villain we have right now. Now, I do like the Civil War leaders because they mimic the heroes as well as they do. So they do have some good designs. But as far as a pure villain, I think I'm going to give her a 10. I just love playing her. I love the variability. I love sometimes the feeling of hopelessness when, you get a really bad enthrallment.
Yeah.
Or you get that spell blast at the exact worst time.
Yeah.
So I said I have only ever pulled that, when I'm enthralled. That might not be right. But I know for a fact that most of the time when I pull it, it's right after she's added the 5th counter, which made me enthralled. So if it had come out the previous turn, I would have been fine. I would have only had to choose one. But because she just attacked me and put the 5th counter on, I draw that, I reveal it, and now I have to do both of those. So, yeah, I think there's some good tension when playing her. Yeah, I think I'm gonna change. I'm going from 9.95 up to 10.
Nice. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. She's like a 10, both as a villain and also pretty decent artwork as well. 10 out of 10.
And if she didn't have Ulick in there, she would be 10.5. No.
Yeah.
Actually, I like Ulick because, like I said, that's not going to come out with Law of Attraction, but also there's something there. He is defending her and attacking for her without being enthralled. I just think that's really fun design. While I hate drawing Ulick, I really like the card.
Yeah.
And he does something that some other villains do, some other encounter sets do. Something extra happens in Expert, like even with her crown, a crown of the Enchantress. if you're an expert, she gains stalwart. Bulik, if you're an expert, he gains toughness. And I like that when the designers put something like that on an encounter card, because it changes, an individual card, not just the villain. And something I talked about in my why I like the Enchantress video, and this is an old video now, but I like the way they stepped up her stats. On stage 1, she is 2 scheme, 1 attack. Stage 2, it's 2 scheme, 2 attack. And then stage 3 is 3 scheme, 2 attack. So when she moves from one stage to the next, only one of her stats changes. And like Collector 1, who I absolutely love, I think both stats go up by 1 each time Collector 1 goes to the next stage. Those numbers can get huge for no real reason. I don't like that design, but I like this design where only one of the stats goes up between stages.
Yep. It feels manageable, right? But she's still getting stronger, right? More hit points, slightly, like one higher stat, maybe like a different ability or something. But yeah, it's manageable, but still stronger. Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, I don't think she's the perfect villain, but I think she's a 10 villain for sure.
Yeah, no, yeah, she's fun. I think she's a fun villain, and I hope people agree with us as well. I think,
and if they don't, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. So
we know she's great.
We know she's a 10.
With everything, said and done, do we have any final thoughts or, parting words or whatever about Enchantress, or I guess anything?
Have you had any like super memorable games against her? Any game where you're like, man, I played this one hero and it was just a blast because?
So my okay. So I will answer this. One, the multiplayer game we just had, that was awesome because we just absolutely destroyed her. I was Maria Hill, and you were Captain Marvel, and it was awesome. It was awesome. That was fun. I played her with Winter Soldier, and I have that recorded game, and it was so bad. And I remember that one because it's just awful, right? And then I forget who I was playing her against, but then I lost with Spell Blast, and I remember that as well, which is why it's like my least favorite, card. And I just played a game. I forget who I was. It was just the other night, maybe Quicksilver, but I had like 3 attachments on me, like temptations and stuff, because I just wasn't removing them because I wanted to use their benefits, and they added up, and it was over. Like, I was like, she completely like enthralled me, like I was one of her minions, and that was fun, right? That was fun. But yeah, those are just some of my recent memories. But do you have anything, any recent memories or anything cool you'd like to share?
Well, I like the Wonder Man game that came out this morning. Again, this is March 6th. That was fun because it was my first time playing him. And even as I was playing, I realized I could do things more efficiently. And then after the game was over, I played her again thinking, okay, I need to do better with this card. I need this card to do the thing I like it to do. And that game was a lot better. And then because she's still on the table, I've played her several times since then. One of the most recent games was Domino. And, I said earlier in this recording that I realized at one point how good Trance of Greed would be with Domino. So I said, oh, I'm going to play her again. And I played her 4 more times, and I never got Trance of Greed again. So I'm like, well, I guess I can't test that out. And I could have just said, okay, I'm going to give myself Trance of Greed. But I love the variability here, just because you don't know what you're getting. So even if I wanted to test with a certain trance, I still prefer just to get the one at random. I think that's a blast.
Yep. Yeah, I like that
Then
too.
I want to talk about one more card.
Oh.
Because you actually brought it up, and I had a recording. I don't even remember who I was playing, but the card I got was Kiss of Temptation, and I got that, attach your identity. That's the one where you exhaust, place a counter, draw a card, discard a card.
Yep.
So I got that. I said Kiss of Temptation, and I put it down, and as I was putting it down, I was reading it, and I said, oh, that's tempting.
Right? Yep.
So I do like that card for that reason. That gave me a fun moment in a recorded game.
Like, ooh.
Um, but yeah, it was just so funny. I looked at it, said "Kiss of Temptation," read it. Oh, that's tempting.
That, and the designers, they know what they're doing. Like some of these
Yeah.
cards, like you're like, oh, alluring call. I need to. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. I get to do what now? Well,
Yeah.
maybe I'll keep
I know
it around.
exactly. It's like I see the exhaust this, get rid of it. That's the first thing I see, and then I read the forced action. I'm like, oh, that's actually not terrible. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
And I have left some of those sitting around before, but now when I'm playing her, I just do it to get rid of it.
No, I get it. Yeah, I mean, I made the mistake of letting them pile up because I was like, oh, these are good, but once you have just, I don't know, even two, you're like, well, now I have to spend 2 turns in Alter Ego exhausting to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Or I got to keep them, and she's getting the counters on the main scheme, and it's like, you think it's a good thing, but that's how she gets you. And
Yeah.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Such a good villain.
And I haven't said it yet, but I've talked about the variability and those cards. It gives you choices. Sometimes choices that you think are great in the moment, but then, like you said, you realize later, oh, I really should have gotten rid of that earlier.
Yeah.
You are getting a choice with Alluring Call. Do I do the forced action or do I just get rid of it? Temptation. Do I do the forced action or do I just get rid of it? Seduced is the only one, and I think it's probably because they were basically just using the same card from the Nemesis set. Alter Ego action, spend energy mental, discard this. All of the other conditions, or temptations, I should say, have exhaust this, get rid of it, except for that one. So I think, again, that's probably just because they copied it from the Enchantress Nim set. But
Yeah, it makes sense. It's like, it's the same, so she does the same thing. Yeah, it's cool. She's cool. Well, with that, I think we have everything covered that we want to talk about
I believe
Enchantress.
so.
Yeah, I think we just, overall, great villain, but don't get tempted, right? The theme.
Don't get tempted. Don't
That's
go
right.
down the dark side.
Don't go down. Yeah, you might want to, but don't do it, right? Don't do it. It's not worth it.
Is the dark side more powerful? No, just
Yeah.
easier.
Apparently you haven't heard the story of Dark Plagueis the Wise. Well, I will say it has been a pleasure to have another content creator on my channel. I know we're going to do this, alternating, but when I was doing Disney Lorcana, I did have a brother and sister duo, and they came on. I was doing like a card of the day series. I would always talk about cards, and some cards were revealed, and I brought them on, and we chatted about like 3 or 4 different cards and how we think they'll do, and that was a lot of fun. And I had planned on doing that, with other content creators, but I just kind of got out of the game and I kind of stopped. So it's been a while, but I'll say it's nice to have some company here on my little, slice of the internet.
I like talking to other people about the game, whether I'm positive, negative, and I'm almost always positive, but whatever the case may be, it's fun to talk to someone else and get some other opinions that might change my mind. In this case, I think we are both kind of on the same page. She is amazing, but maybe at some point down the line, we'll have a villain that I absolutely love and you just absolutely loathe. I think that would be a good conversation, especially in a single episode, so that people are getting 2 views on a villain instead of just mine or just yours. And having said that, I might change one of the ones I already have planned.
Oh.
I know I have a villain that I love that pretty much everyone else who plays the game despises. So
Ooh. I have a hunch, but I think that'd be very interesting. And yes, I think we might have some differing opinions on a few villains. And yes, I think that might be very interesting to talk about.
yeah, let me go in here and see where I can fit that one.
Oh.
I'm looking at my lineup for what I have next, so I might change one of those.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll be a fun surprise, I suppose.
It'll be surprising. It'll be surprising maybe to you. I think the people who follow my channel know the villain I love that everyone else hates, and it sounds like you probably do. I don't know if I want to add that one to the list just yet.
Everyone knows it's Venom. Let's be real.
I love Venom. It's not the one I'm going to talk about, but I absolutely love Venom. Do you not like Venom?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe maybe that's something the viewers will have to find out when we get to that episode.
Right.
All right. Well, with everything said and done, I think this was a fantastic, podcast on one of, if not the best villain currently in Marvel Champions.
Yep, I agree. A lot of fun.
Next week, I believe you are back in the driver's seat, and we're going to have a new villain that we're going to be discussing. And is there anything maybe you want to maybe give me a hint or whatever? Maybe about...
I think... I don't want to just straight out say it, but the villain that I want to talk about next week really, gives you a task of thwarting a lot of schemes. So, and of course, like that's Venom.
Yeah, obviously Venom. Yeah, we'll say that every episode, and people are going to be
we
like,
do need to say that every episode, and then one time it's going to actually be Venom.
It'll be Venom. Yep, and they'll be like, oh my gosh. We'll save it for the final episode. The very last one will be Venom.
Right.
Aw. This was a great episode. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to wrap things up here.
I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching today, everybody, and I hope you have a marvelous day.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Make good decisions. And we'll see you in next week's episode. Okay, bye.